George Hamilton, the founder of Hamilton, Ontario, was a Scottish-born settler, merchant, and politician who played a key role in establishing the city in the early 19th century. There are no surviving portraits or authentic visual depictions of George Hamilton, the founder of Hamilton, Ontario. Unlike more prominent historical figures of his time, George Hamilton was not widely documented in paintings or sketches. This lack of imagery is typical for many figures from the early 19th century who were not part of the social or political elite in a way that led to commissioned portraits. However, an artistic interpretation of what George Hamilton might have looked like, based on the attire and styles typical of the early 19th century, is shown on this video. George Hamilton was born in Queenston, Upper Canada, modern-day Ontario, in 1788. His family was of Scottish descent and had moved to Upper Canada during the late 18th century. Queenston is a compact rural community and unincorporated place 5 kilometers north of Niagara Falls in the town of Niagara-on-the-Lake, Ontario, Canada. His father, Robert Hamilton, was a prominent merchant and a member of the Legislative Council of Upper Canada, which gave George a foundation in both commerce and politics. Hamilton was educated in Edinburgh, Scotland, and appears to have possessed a keen mind for business and letters. The schooling of the era would have exposed him to moral philosophy and what later became the separate discipline of economics. His education fostered skepticism as well as a commitment to freedom of religion and the right to hold dissenting opinions and attitudes that would surface in his political career. He married Maria Lavinia Jarvis in 1811. Maria Lavinia Jarvis Hamilton was the oldest daughter of William Jarvis, the famed provincial secretary of Upper Canada. Hamilton served during the War of 1812, where he held the rank of captain with the Niagara Light Dragoons, participating in the capture of Detroit and the Battle of Queenston Heights and Lundy's Lane. During 1814, British troops billeted at his Queenston establishment burned the property. This loss, combined with a familiarity with the head of the lake acquired during the war when Burlington Heights was heavily garrisoned, may have prompted George Hamilton's purchase of 257 acres of Barton Township from James Durand in January 1815. This property was located in a strategic R at the head of Lake Ontario, near Burlington Bay. Recognizing its potential as a key transportation and economic hub, Hamilton decided to establish a town on this land. Well-placed and shrewd, Hamilton likely knew of pre-war discussions about creating a new administrative district with a judicial center. Within a year of his land purchase, Hamilton reached agreement with the owner of adjacent property to the north, Nathaniel Hewson, on a scheme which they calculated would increase the possibility of having the courthouse and jail for the new district located on Hamilton lands, to the benefit of the values of both men's property. Together they empowered James Durand to lobby at the House of Assembly for the Hamilton town site and to act as an agent selling town lots. The instructions coincided with the very week that the Assembly and Legislative Council deliberated on the formation of the new district and the designation of a district town. The act was passed on March 22, 1816. The precise maneuvers cannot be documented, but there is little doubt that the origins of the Hamilton town site and its location back from the waterfront derive from a complicated private affair involving George Hamilton, Nathaniel Hewson, and James Durand. The new town was to become the capital of the new Gore district. Hamilton provided land for a courthouse and jail. The police village of Hamilton was incorporated in 1833. The area was well positioned for trade and agriculture, with easy access to waterways and emerging road networks. The settlement was initially a modest community, but its advantageous location spurred growth over time. The offer they made to the government of Upper Canada included the granting of 2 blocks of land of 2 acres, each to the Crown. These were to be reserved for the construction of public buildings. The overall design of the town site, likely conceived in 1816, was commonplace. George Hamilton employed a grid street pattern used in most towns in Upper Canada and throughout the American frontier. The 80 original lots had frontages of 50 feet. Each lot faced a broad street and backed onto a 12-foot lane. It took at least a decade for all of the original lots to be sold. But the construction of the Burlington Canal in 1823 and a new courthouse in 1827 encouraged Hamilton to add more blocks around 1828 or 1829. At that time, he included a market square in an effort to draw commercial activity onto his lands, but the natural growth of the town was to the north of Hamilton's plot. As a private town developer, Hamilton's record was mixed. He created the town of Hamilton, but he clearly tried to shape it in order to benefit his private fortunes. The market ploy, a successful petition for the Crown to return one of the original 2-acre gift to the Crown, and eventual disputes over ownership of the Gore, indicate his manipulative efforts. All the same, he left enduring marks on the urban landscape, the Courthouse Square, the Haymarket, the Gore, and the basic street plan of the city core. Hamilton represented the riding of Wentworth in the Legislative Assembly of Upper Canada from 1821 to 1830, where he tended to support moderate reformers and encourage immigration to Canada. He helped set up a canal to link Hamilton Harbour to Lake Ontario and worked to secure funding for the courthouse and jail. The city of Hamilton officially took his name in recognition of his role in its establishment. Over the years, the city expanded beyond its original boundaries, becoming a major industrial and cultural center in Ontario. Hamilton worked to attract settlers and businesses to the area. He played a significant role in developing infrastructure, including roads and public buildings, to support the growing community. His contributions are remembered through the city's name and its historical narratives, making him a central figure in Ontario's early development. George Hamilton died on February 20, 1836, and was buried at the family burial plot on the family's farm. His remains, along with the remains of other members of his family that were buried there, were later removed to the Hamilton lot in Hamilton Cemetery. He and his family have a prominent gravestone near the front of Hamilton Cemetery. Thank you for watching this video and learning about George Hamilton. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Bye for now.